Hello, it's Orly. I haven't reached out to you in a while, and so I thought I was due. I wanted to review some of the things that you may have seen in some of my YouTubes and some things that you may not have. But before I do, I want to say a couple of things. One, we just came back from the Tucson Bead Show, February 2nd to the 9th. And we had a great time. I want to thank everybody who stopped at our table, who shared their thoughts about my board, my OGees board, and who bought one. That was especially thrilling. Anyway, thank you to all of you. So, before I start, I just want to say that some of the people at the show mentioned some options to me which I hadn't considered, and that is that you folks who do crocheting and you folks who do cross stitching, that you can use OGees board to make your designs on the board and then translate it into the stitches or the crocheting. I never thought of that, but you guys did, so thanks. So anyway, the other thing I wanted to share with you is the new box. We're really proud of this box. I think it says it all. And in the middle, you can see OGees Beading Design Board, which is our recently copyrighted logo. I think trademark, maybe it's trademark. Either way, it's something. So anyway, we're really proud of the board. Just as a quick recap, I want to show you the board again and remind you that you can design your seed bead creations on the board. It's two-sided, so one side you can do a peyote stitch. On the other side, you could do straight row, loomed, right angle, herringbone, and both sides you can do. You can use size 16s to size 8 seed beads. Delicas will work, and also 1.8 millimeter square beads, which I've recently discovered. So that's the board. This is going to be let me put this over here. This is going to be a very low-tech video. And you'll see why I say that in a second. Maybe less than a second. I am actually going to show you pictures. So, what you're looking at is a picture of a design that I created. These happen to be the 1.8 millimeter square beads. I created it on the board, and then I picked it up with the needle and thread row by row and transferred it onto the loom. So if you take a look at this, you will see that it's the same piece. Okay, and this is what I meant by high tech, low tech. This is a design that I created on the board, and I'll show it to you in person. Whoops, oops, oops, oops. It's a peyote stitch. I use size 11 beads, and again, after I designed it on the board, I just transferred it, actually bead by bead, since you can't loom peyote, and then I sewed it together to give it some depth. But what you're looking at here is what this is. So I don't use graph paper, I don't use software, I just design things on the board. Next, another peyote stitch, again with the 1.8 millimeter square beads. So here's the design, here's the needle, which is going to pick up one by one bead and put it on the piece. And this is actually the finished piece. So you could see how, here I'll hold it like that. So you could see how nice the square beads come out. And how easy it is to make your designs on OGees board, and you can make changes as you see fit on the fly. This is another design created on OGees board. This one is loomed, and there's a design and there's the piece. So size 8 beads. Did I mention that? Again, just illustrations of the things that you can design on the board and then put to thread. Bear with me, only a couple more. So this one was interesting. What you're looking at are the 1.8 square beads. They're the black beads, along with the 11 size 11 seed beads. This started off as a headband, and then it progressed to a hat band, and honestly, I'm not sure what it's going to be when it grows up, but this is the actual finished product, and this was done on a loom. You can see that there's texture between the size 11s and the square beads. Okay. Last but not least, this is one of my original designs. Again, size 11s. I loomed it. Here's the actual piece. And you can see that I kept a space in the middle there because I knew I was going to put something in there. So I put in those black larger beads in there. And you can see that the side panels, I designed it once. The first time I did it on one side, I used the board design as a guide. The second time I actually lifted up the beads with the needle. So I have one more I want to show you. I don't have a picture for this, but this is something I made recently. Actually, I made it for the Tucson show, and they're size 15s. And after I did this little tapestry, I couldn't figure out what to do with it, so I put it on a chain, and then I put 2 pieces of elastic on the back, and I wore my glasses at the show, and it looked really neat. Nobody knew they were there, and I didn't have to constantly be tapping the table to see where they were. So earlier I spoke about people who do cross stitch and people who do crochet. This is actually a cross stitch pattern that I took off the net, and I'm showing it to you because as the pattern is, you can create that on OGees board. You can use seed beads, create this pattern, and then transfer it to a cross stitch work. So that's what the people at the Tucson show told me that they were going to use the board for. And as far as crocheters among us, same thing. You can create your design on the board, and then you can translate it into a crocheted piece. So now that I've shown you that, I'm just going to go over here and a couple of things. First, I wanted to show you the tweezers. These are the tweezers that actually come with OGees board, and they're very good tweezers. There's nothing wrong with them. They'll work well for small and large beads. But we also offer, and maybe not but, in addition to, we also offer these additional tweezers, 2 of which you can see as I flip them over are cross-lock tweezers. So these work very nicely as well. I actually like to use them on the slightly larger beads. You press it, you let it go, and it holds the bead. You can see that this one is straight tipped, and this one is curved, and this one is your standard tweezer. They're all really sharp because that's very useful in picking up the beads and moving them around on the board. So we offer them in pink, red, purple, and black. Just some information for you. Now I have to reach over here and grab my glasses because I want to just do a real quick demonstration I have my needle and thread all ready, and I have some beads here that I just randomly put together as a pattern. I want to show you how easy it is to make a design on OGees. You pick the beads up and you place them, and you work out your whole design as easy as that. And I also want to show you how the board has little feet, so it keeps it from sliding around when you're working. And you can move this around. You can't play frisbee with it because that'll most definitely make the beads come out of their little nestled spots here. But you can move it around. At the end of the day, when you're done working, you just simply pick it up like I do and put it someplace out of the way of the cats, the dogs, and the kids. So the last thing I want to show you is how easy it is to pick up the beads once they're on the board. And it doesn't matter, you don't have to worry about how the beads are placed, whether it's hole up or hole down or sideways. The needle will find the center. Sorry, I'm a little I get a little shaky when I'm being photographed, but sitting at my kitchen table all alone, this goes rather quickly. And it'll go rather quickly for you as well. But this is all there is to it. So you're picking it up right off the board, and you're either putting it on a loom, or you're doing a peyote stitch, in which case you're picking them up one by one. But it is rather easy and quick to pick them up. It takes a lot of, it saves a lot of time. And I think that's all I have to say to you. Visit our site. It's OGees Beading Design Board.com. And if you have any questions, drop me a line. My contact information is on the website. So I think that's it, and thank you very much. Bye.